What's up, Poppy?
What's up?
Where you from?
How you doing?
What?
I'm from Tennessee. How about you? The more desperate you look, the less attractive it is. Like if you like walk up to him like, "Hey, what's your number? Come on, like, what's your number, please? Like, come on."
Yeah,
You know?
and there was no way for me to catch up with her unless I was gonna be running after her, which, like I said, is gonna look desperate, and then it's not gonna end well anyway.
Did you say she was walking her dog?
Yeah, she was walking her dog.
You could have walked up to her and been like, "Hey, that's a cute dog. Like, what breed is he?" And like ask if you could pet the dog, and like kind of worked it from there, maybe.
That could have worked, but at the same time, like I said, I would have had to have run towards her in order to catch up with her because we were on different sides of the street.
Was it like was there a bunch of cars going through?
Yeah, I had a red light.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I couldn't catch up with her unless I was running. But if you're gonna be running after a girl, first of all, she's gonna get
Yeah, she's
scared.
gonna yeah, she's gonna think something's up, yeah.
So there was no way for me to really do it without making myself look like a fool.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate timing, man. I feel you.
Yeah, but at the same time, I talked to a lot of other guys here in town who actually are desperate,
Mm-hmm.
and they are constantly approaching women without any eye contact at all. And needless
Really?
to say, their results are not going to be very good.
That's also seen as kind of trashy as well. A lot of times, like if you just run up to women and you're like, "Hey, can I have your number? You want to fuck?" Like they see it as kind of trashy and stuff, and it's not necessarily like their type of thing. That's how you really get like I mean maybe you like could have like if were in jogging clothes, you could have looked like you were jogging or something, and like had headphones in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like what bit down like, oh, that's a cute dog, and like we should go get coffee sometime. So I don't know.
Yeah,
The
but
whole situation.
these guys that I'm talking about who do cold approaches, because that's what they call it, right? Cold approach.
No, yeah, that's really fucking stupid. No,
Um, they,
not saying there's plenty of trash in the sea.
yeah.
Like that's how you pick up the trash a lot of the times. Like they like go to Dollar General and just like fucking like ask out women. Like go to places like go to like some sort of like fucking pop culture place or something that you can relate to. Don't just ask random women
Yeah.
because you don't know them. I guess if you're really desperate, sure, but like
Well, that's the thing. They're playing the numbers game. You see what I'm saying? They're
yeah,
under the impression that if you ask out 100 females, one of them is going to say yes.
yeah, but yeah, you have to be really smooth and like at the same time like you have to have some sort of common interest usually for them to like be like okay, like usually if you just walk up and say unless you're like a super fucking like giga chad like sexy man, you're not gonna like immediately get them. Like you have to have some sort of common interest first.
Yeah,
Like
which
unless
isn't
you're
going to
so
happen off the streets.
yeah, exactly. You're not yeah. You have to unless like once again you're like super attractive like Henry Cavill or some shit like walking up to women like hey what's up, but like that doesn't fucking work usually. You have to play it smart.
Yeah.
You have to like if you go to like I don't know, or maybe a coffee shop and or even just a bar, or like go to a bar or something and pick up shit. I mean, it's also seen as kind of trashy because I mean they're intoxicated, but like see if you can like make something happen. I don't know, but yeah, you're not gonna really interest a lot of women just on the street if you're just walking around with like, hey, like fuck or something. That just doesn't work.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys, they go to this park in New York called Washington Square. And this park has like a lot of drug addicts and homeless people and crackheads.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, it's got cute girls. So
Mm-hmm.
these guys, they're kind of gravitated towards this park, but at the same time, these women know that these characters are here, so they're gonna have their
Yeah.
guard up a lot more than they are even on the streets.
And they might think that they're one of the drug addicts. Maybe they
Exactly.
might be
There's
like,
no way for
"Is
them to
this guy?"
know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. You have to at least like have like maybe like also be walking a dog or something. Get a dog. Those things are chick magnets. Like a husky and like walk it and be like, "Oh my god, I love your dog so much," and like they'll start like talking to you like, how old is he and stuff like that, and you like have at least some sort of common ground or interest, like
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
something to
It's
talk
like
with. If you just
a
walk up
prop
to him, it's
almost.
just awkward as fuck. Yeah, it's super awkward. Just
Yeah,
like, hey,
but you know, there's a
you want to
lot
go
of
out? You're
guys out there who are writing books and doing websites about
hmm
how to meet women, and I think a lot of them are kind of like preying on the weakness of these guys who
Yeah, big time. There's,
be,
I always hate like pickup artists like shit because like really when it comes down to it, it's pretty blind. You're not just gonna be like going out unless you're like an actual like a super attractive guy. You're not gonna or a really smooth talker or like a really good like good socially. You're not gonna fucking do that. You're just not.
and even if you
It's
are, I think it's going to be really difficult to keep her interest.
like you're just the dude who walked up to her on the street. Like
Yeah,
that's why like I've had women like come up to me and ask like you want to go on a date and I was like no because like no it sounds like fucking mean but it's like I don't know you, I don't know anything about you, it's not attractive at all. It's not like we talked for like 5 to 10 minutes out on the street like about something that we both enjoyed and then asked if we wanted to go out. It's not like that. It's like Junior, I know nothing about you. I don't know who you are. I don't know your personality, your interests, or anything. I don't know anything about you. You just asked. So it's almost always going to be a no, unless it's maybe like a 10 out of 10. But being confident, like as a person, not like being not looking like not walking with your hands in your pockets like super awkwardly. Just like you show like a confident presence, not like yeah, like I said, a douchey confidence where you're overly confident to a delusional degree, but like a calm, chill, relaxed confidence is always attractive too. Like, because I see way too many people who are complete fuckboys that like think that just like act way too confident and like are like, hey, you want to fuck? Like just straight up like the dumbest shit, and they're like, no, and they like seem to not register that she says no and keep trying to go for it. And it's like, hey, like no, stop. They're uncomfortable. Fucking stop. Don't like look like you're constantly ashamed of yourself or awkward or like looking around and shaking and stuff. Just like wear confident like kind of clothes, look like confident, don't like look super nervous if I mean if you know how to. Sometimes it takes like walking up to enough women and stuff. Sometimes it takes some rejection, like you know, to start like getting more comfortable with it and stuff. So it's like fine, but you know,
you know, there's
and
actually
really
a
just
group in New
mhm.
York called Rejection Therapy, and these guys, what they do is,
Yeah, I've heard of that.
yeah, they purposely go up to females to get rejected to
Get
build up that
rejected.
thick skin.
Your personality, like if you're a more confident person, you can be a lot more things. I think a lot of times like a bad personality for somebody who's really unconfident and stuff is like there's such thing as being unconfident and then like being realistic. Sometimes it's like okay, she's like an actual supermodel, she's not going to go out with me. Okay, like there, let's not waste my time or her time, you know, like there's such thing as that, and then such thing as oh she's going to reject, everybody's here reject like having no personality, no hobby or anything is like also like somewhat unattractive because you seem super confused about a lot of things. Because a lot of times I see people that have little personality don't have interest in much of anything. They just exist. They just they just work their 9 to 5, go home, sulk on the internet, and then fuck off. Like it's not like they like have. It's not like they go camping or they have like they like relax. They're into certain like things like even yoga, which is like one of the lamest ones. Like, sorry if you do yoga, but like in my opinion, one of the lamer ones. It's like I mean, some chicks will find that attractive, but if you have nothing like interesting about you, it's just you're boring. You're a boring person. Like, and a lot of times, I think personality builds off hobby and what things you do. Like, I mean, let's say you like camping and you're an adventurous person. Like, that's fun. Like, I like hiking, like chilling in the river, relaxing. It's fun because there's something that you both can do. Because if she likes doing that, then you can both do that. But if you have nothing in common and you're just kind of a pushover, then it's just not really that confident. You don't have much to you. You're just boring. I think negativity isn't necessarily like it. I don't think it's necessarily much of a thing. I think there's such thing as being sounding negative, but just being realistic. Like once again, oh yeah, I'm not gonna go out on a date with this. If I'm a fat ass blob, I'm not gonna go out on a date with this 10 out of 10 supermodel unless I'm like super filthy rich, and even then, that's not because she loves me. It's because she wants my money. Like there's such thing as being realistic and being negative. Being overly negative and constantly beating yourself down is super unattractive. Women don't like that because you show that you're not a confident person. You're an awkward person. You're not. You're not seen as like an actual like useful person. But like like you said with rejection therapy, like they're super negative. But like you can be negative and realistic, like because negativity often seems or like realism often seems more negative because really when it comes out to it, like a lot of things are really not that good. They are pretty negative, but that's realistic to a degree. But if you dwell on negativity, that's where it's bad. That's where it gets bad. If you just accept that there's a bunch of negativity in the world, or accept that there's a bunch of negativity with certain things, that's fine. But like if you constantly dwell on that, that's what's also unattractive to a lot of women, unless they're also real super realist nihilists. Like yeah, confidence. But like if you're confident about things, and that's yeah, it's fine. But then there's people like you said that are just overly, they dwell on everything negative. They don't look at anything good. They just dwell on everything negative, and they just super fucking. They're seen as pretty unattractive. Having somebody who's less attractive than you makes you seem more, or makes you, or that isn't like as attractive as you'd want. It makes you seem more confident because they feel more like a friend to you, rather than a mate. They feel more like somebody who you can comfortably talk with rather than a mate. Like, and I think that's like a pretty like universal thing. That's why a lot of women don't go with like super like big dick chads, like or not necessarily big dick, but like they don't go with like super chads. They go with like you'll see 10 out of 10 women with like pretty average looking guys because like it's just that they feel they can feel insecure and also just like ashamed when they like talk to someone because it feels less like a partner because it feels almost unrealistic. Like if I was to talk to right now a 10 out of 10 supermodel, I'd be more nervous than I would be talking to somebody who's a fat ass, right? You know, who's super heavy. Fat ass is like me, but like you know what I mean, right? Like let's say they're 600 pounds, I would feel more confident talking to them because they don't seem as much of a mate. That's you know, that's why a lot of times that's why you're not attracted to your mother, right? Is because to you that's not a mate. It's a woman, yes, but it's your mother. You look at them as a mother, not a mate, not a, a partner, right? Which
Yeah.
sometimes can also be bad if you don't see the person who you're trying to be a partner with as a partner, but like the right balance is good. Like having somebody who's attractive, but not like a 10 out of 10 gorgeous like supermodel, right? Like because obviously you feel out of place talking to them. You feel lesser than like, if that makes sense. Usually you should start with a conversation piece like, oh, like what'd you do today? Like okay, that's a little bit cliche. How about how are you doing today? How's your night or something like that? It's just cliche, but it often is somewhat engaging. And then like ask him like you have any interest hobbies, but like so like what are you into? Like you get something engaging, and then you could say like yeah, you're really attractive. Like if you're immediately like wow, you're hot, you look more douchey. Like you're like okay, that's why most like pickup or not pickup artists because they're mostly fake, but like that's why most like dudes who are often they don't approach women by saying you're super hot. They'll like try to like first like once again find common ground and then like yeah.
You look cute. Let's go get some ice cream.
Oh.
Oh my god.
That is really bad. That is really awkward and really unfortunate. That's just not how things are done at all. That was too bold, way too off the bat, and seemed he seemed super nervous. Hey, you're cute. Let's go get some ice cream. Like, and also he didn't be like, do you want to go get some ice cream, or try to talk to her. He just said, let's go get ice cream. That is fucking atrocious. That was really bad. if a girl walked up to me and said, no matter how hot, and she said, "Hey, you're cute, let's go get some ice cream," like, okay, maybe for some, but if they're like average, then I'm just no, because like I don't know you. You're not. I mean, maybe there's an off chance that they're just desperate, right? And they're a pretty normal, pretty pretty like normal person, right? But at the same time, a lot of times you just don't want to take that chance. Like a lot of times, there's usually people who do that are like either desperate or there's something like they have some sort of social like disconnect that it means that they could be slightly autistic or have some sort of social disconnect that just seems wrong. Or they could just be desperate, which desperate usually means that they're a normal person. They just people who are socially connected who are more entertaining and stuff to be around. Typically, you'll see are like they can see they can read situations really well. Like in friend groups or something, like a girl is brought along, they'll be able to like see that, and they also can read social cues, like whether or not she looks uncomfortable or not. Like if she like looks like she's like looking around, or she gets on her phone, and she's like glued to her phone because she might be slightly uncomfortable. Or but if she's like, they could read that, oh, if she's talking to me, she's talking to other people, she's not uncomfortable, she's comfortable with what's happening, and she's not like, so like, okay, so everything's fine. But then a lot of these people I see, they aren't able to see that because they're socially disconnected, and they'll keep trying to like press and press when she's uncomfortable, and overstepping bounds as well is another big one I see. Like when it's like, oh, I have somewhere to be, it's like, oh, where are you going, I could meet you there, when she's really, what she's trying to say is, oh yeah, sorry, I don't really want to go on a date. Like she's like let's say you ask a girl out on a date and she's like, oh, sorry, I have a busy schedule that day. I mean, sometimes maybe she's saying she genuinely has a busy schedule, but usually if she does actually have a busy schedule, she's gonna be like, oh no, but this other day would work. But if she doesn't say but this other day would work, but she said she's just trying to be nice, and she's like, oh, sorry, I have a busy schedule that day, I can't do that, then that usually is just gonna, that's a nice way of saying no, sorry, I'm not interested. But if she said, oh, sorry, I'm busy that day, would like this day work, that's pretty much how she's gonna say yes, unless she's also socially disconnected, or not socially disconnected but doesn't realize that, oh hey, that's not like a hint I'm gonna pick up to keep pressing, because most people who are connected and can see social cues know, oh, that's okay, I just got rejected, all right, see, like, you see that a lot. I see that a lot, unfortunately, is where they don't realize no means no, or what certain things they say mean, picking up on like hints and stuff. Like sometimes hints are fucking stupid and they're like really, really like unobvious, and they're dumb. But a lot of them are pretty obvious, and you just can't pick them up, because usually when they think that you don't understand, they're gonna try to re-clarify.
Yeah.
Start with a friend group and work your way out from there. Like once you have a friend group, you'll obviously have support group, because like they'll be able to like, hey, like, yeah, don't do this, or they'll be able to like help you, right? Because if they actually care about you and they're a good friend, they're going to try to help you with it. And also with that friend group, you're going to obviously at some point, they're like, oh, I'm going to bring some of my friends along, and they're girls, right? Go for them. Or like, but if you're just alone and you're a big loner, like, then I mean, you're not gonna, you already are at a rough start, because like cold approaches are almost always not gonna work.
Yeah.
Maybe if that 1 out of 1 billion chance, yeah, okay, sure, but that's just like you just got extraordinarily lucky. That's not, or you're super hot, like you're super fucking hot, but that's like, once again, not everybody is super fucking hot. Like we're not fucking super hot or anything, so like yeah, you're gonna have to actually be a intelligent person, unless you're just kind of joking around with your own friends. You don't tell women like, oh yeah, I was talking to this other bitch. No, you don't say that. You're like, I was talking to this other girl, right? And you come across as a douchebag, because you come across as overconfident, like, oh, these bitches, or like, unless you call like a dude a bitch, like he's such a bitch or something like that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you don't call a woman a bitch. They do not like that at all.
Yeah, and he's got that whole like, what do you call it? Chauvinistic.
Scratch that. You don't insult a woman at all if you want any sort of meaningful relationship with them, unless you're like, they know you're joking, like, oh, you're so dumb or something like that. Like it's sometimes acceptable, if you like really are comfortable with them and they're comfortable with you. But if you're like just meeting and you're like, oh, you're such a dumb bitch, then they're gonna be like, okay, well, fuck you too. Like, no, that's another symptom. You're socially inept. You're socially disconnected. You don't realize that, hey, that's not cool. You don't call them a bitch unless they're
Yeah,
super comfortable with you. Like, if you're scared of going on roller coasters, after going on a trillion roller coasters, you're not going to be very scared, right?
yeah,
Kind of like this, you're not going to be scared of going up. Now, whether or not you're going to actually learn the social things, no, because you don't have a feedback loop. You don't have response. You don't have anything to it unless they like tell you, hey, you're really bad at this. You need to improve here, which they're not going to do. So there's no feedback to it. So yeah, you're just gonna. I mean, maybe after a while, if you like know if you are actually good socially, but you're just poorly developed, maybe you could learn something. But people who are just naturally bad socially, no, they're not going to learn a thing. They're just going to keep trying the same thing over and over again and just hope it works. Because a lot of them are just desperate and they're just they just think, like you said, like numbers are going to like eventually get to them. Like, oh yeah, if I ask enough out, surely one's going to say yes. But no, that because then what they have, almost none of them have even prepared for step two, and that's, oh, she says yes. Where do we go? Like, where from here? Where's second base? Or I guess first base. Like, where do we start?
yeah.
Because a lot of them are just so used to getting rejected, they have no fucking clue where to go from there. They're just like, oh yes, it, where do you like to eat? And just if they're super awkward, but she just said yes to be nice, then you're just gonna get dragged in further. Like if she's just gonna give it like a shot, for why not? Then like if you keep digging a hole that's deeper and deeper, then yes, they're the salesman type. Like it's really awkward. It is really awkward when you approach them like that, and that's really the thing because awkwardness actually it is actually like shown to be painful. Like awkwardness is genuinely it triggers the same areas of the brain that pain does. It is really it is you try to avoid it at all costs, and women especially try to avoid it at all costs. So if you're super awkward and you just make everything awkward that you touch, cold approaching is the last thing you want to do, unless they're also just as socially inept as you. Because if they're socially inept themselves, they're not going to realize, hey, this is awkward. They're going to be like, oh, he's a nice guy. I want to go out with, you know, typically you match with somebody who you kind of resemble. So if you get another socially inept person, but it's not always great. It's not always good. But even then, that's rare because pretty much everybody has some sort of sense of awkwardness because it's pretty bad. Because when awkwardness occurs, it's bad. It's really bad, and everyone tries to avoid it unless, once again, they don't understand the awkwardness. You don't have to be the hottest looking guy out there. You just need to look. You need to look, I guess, prepared. You need to look prepared, and you need to look, I get confident as well. You need to like sometimes the color of your clothing can psychologically, now sometimes you're over analyzing if you do this, but it can psychologically affect the way like it is. Like wearing a colored shirt that's sweaty it looks weird to say the least. I don't know, that I guess that could just be me, but it looks awkward. It looks like wearing like, I noticed like if when you're wearing like a nice like hoodie or something, you look more laid back to a lot of people. Or not, or like the things you wear do, like super short sleeve shirt and sweaty and super tight clothes are just kind of awkward. They make you look more uncomfortable because a lot of times you are actually uncomfortable. You're like kind of like moving your shoulder and like putting your hand in your pocket or something like that, and you look awkward. You look nervous and ticky, right? But like there's such thing as being confident and such thing as being realistic. Like I said, like I'm not just gonna go up to a supermodel and ask her out because I know, like, okay, realistically, let's be realistic with myself. Yeah, she's not gonna say yes, but then being underconfident at the same time is not attractive either. Lack of self awareness too. Like when you ask that many women out and don't seem to notice that, hey, this is insanity. I expect to change when really what I should be looking for is how, not when I will get a girl. You should be looking, how do I get a girl? How do I ask someone out? How do I cold call, or like not cold call, but do I like cold open myself to them, or do I once it like you were talking about making a friend group and establishing friends first before partners. Like if you have no friends, you also seem really sad and depressed, and they don't like it when women don't like it when you talk about your issues, like your mommy issues or whatever. They don't like it when you talk about like all the issues in your family, like unless they're comfortable with you, unless you're like have been dating for a while. They don't want when you meet them, you don't want to be like, so yeah, like my mom kicked me out. They don't like hearing that. You just be like, oh, I live by myself. That's it. Like you don't have to go into detail about it. You don't. They don't like sulk people who just sulk. They don't like that. If you even if you aren't insane or creepy, if you act creepy, they're going to think you're a creepy person. Maybe you're just that desperate to where you'll do anything. But to them, that's like this guy is super unaware. He's creepy. I don't. He's uncomfortable. He's sweaty. I know. But that which is why which is why like asking them out as soon as you see them is a bad idea. You want to at least have some sort of like, and that's not like saying that you can't like on the street ask them out if you've built a common interest first, or talk to them for a couple minutes first. But if they don't know you at all and you just walk up to them, get up in their space, and you're like, hey, do you want to go out for ice cream? That's fucking weird. That is really weird. Yeah, you want to first like establish some sort of foundational thing for your conversation. You don't just be like, hey, you're cute, you want to get ice cream now, fat, quick? Yes or no? Yes. No, like it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And the thing is once you talk to them more, like if you like actually get in a conversation and she acknowledges, like you said, acknowledges your presence, if even if you aren't even if you are a very unattractive person, like you aren't physically attractive to them, maybe your personality, they're like, wow, this guy is genuinely interesting. And because some women aren't as like attracted to looks as a lot of people think. A lot of people sulk on the fact that they aren't like super attractive. Women, there's a lot of times they are not as attracted to looks as you might think. Like if you are an interesting person and a relaxed, chill person, they will find interest in you. So if you, by establishing a conversation and first, like, hey, yeah, I like doing this. I like doing XYZ because Zeta or like Delta, like to them that's like, oh wow, he's interesting. Maybe I'll give it a shot. Like, but if you just walk up to them and they're like, hey, let's go out, like you just and you're unattractive, it's just a double negative. You're seriously fucking your chances over. Because you
Yeah.
come across as a little bit on the douchey slash unattractive side when you're like the one who's immediately like, oh yeah, what's your snap? Like I kind of tend to agree with you. Like I'd rather them ask me because that means that that's what they want.
Yeah.
Or if they seem really comfortable, then being like, "What's your snap?" But if not, then no, like
Yeah.
not at all. Once again, if they seem really comfortable with talking to you, being like, "Hey, what's your snap?" then they'll give it to you. They're not. But if you're immediately like, "What's your snap?" You're cute. That's just fucking 0 out of 10. You immediately failed because
Yeah.
maybe they will once again if you're super attractive. But then again, they also that shows that they also don't like actually look for anything that's important. They look just for attract looks alone, which means that they'll probably leave you or cheat on you at some point. That is very commonly the way they do it, unless like obviously looks alone isn't like super like is not like necessarily bad because a lot of times like we said, first impressions. But